So let's talk about Opendoor. This is the beaten down stock that looks like it's going to the moon, right? Just check out this chart, right? You just zoom out slightly, and then it's been going down and down and down for ages. And then absolute monkey rocket ships came through, right? No monkey hammers, monkey rocket ships. Like today, at this very moment, it's up 30%. When I looked at just a moment ago, it was up over 40%. So I want to talk about this stock because I actually have a tiny bit of history with this stock, if you can believe this. Um, the real estate sector, this stock in particular, I have a tiny bit of history, right? A little real estate reset here. After brutal years, the housing inventory is shrinking once again, while buyer demand is quietly creeping back up. Now, I don't know about you, but walking through my neighborhood, Chris does a little walking through the neighborhood for exercise. I'm seeing more and more houses that are going up for sale, which I was a bit surprised by. Like, I live in a very fancy neighborhood, and one thing that I've thought about many times is that, you know, the deeper into the fanciness of neighborhood you live, the less people can afford that house, right? For example, my first house was $185,000. Right? Very affordable. Could you imagine buying a house for $185,000 today? Almost impossible. But that price level allowed a lot of people, right? If we're talking like the available pool of buyers, that there were a lot of people that could afford a $185,000 house. Now let's go 10 times that much, right? Now we're talking a house that's $1.8 million, right? The buyer pool is so much smaller for that. So in my neighborhood, right, the buyer pool is a lot smaller where I live now than where I used to live. So seeing all these houses go for sale is interesting to me, right? A couple brutal years of inventory shrinking, but now it seems to be expanding again. And I can actually see that going on. Interest rates are priced to be cut sometime this year. In fact, this is one of my favorite tools. If you Google "See Me Fed Watch Tool," this is super handy. Click the very first result. And what it's going to show you is the likelihood of there being a rate cut before the end of the year. You look at December, and you can see at this point, there is a 5.9% chance that rates will not be cut. They will not be cut. Meaning there's a greater than 94% chance that they will be cut. Even very interesting, right? I know Trump is pushing a lot on those interest rate cuts. We'll have to see if that comes through. Investors are shifting from recession fears over to opportunity seeking in undervalued cyclical sectors like housing, right? This is certainly an undervalued sector. This stock just a couple days ago was like a 50-cent stock, and now it's a almost $3 stock. Earlier today, it was a $5 stock. It's been on a crazy move, right? Real estate tech, once written off as pandemic-fueled hype, is proving as real staying power in a normalized market. Now, this is where I wanted to go. So when my mother-in-law passed away a couple years ago, my wife and her siblings inherited her home, and they were like, we don't want to deal with this. This is when interest rates were spiking up hard and fast. Recession fears all over the place, inflation going out of control. And we all agreed, listen, we don't want to be sitting on this for 6, 8, 12 months, 2 years. Who knows how long it's going to take to sell this house? And so we all agreed that we were going to use Opendoor. And I'm telling you, that was so simple, right? It was just like going to Amazon, right? And being like, okay, I want to buy this thing, boom, gone, right? Or maybe even like buying a Tesla, right? When I bought my Tesla, I went on the Tesla website, pushed a couple buttons, and then they basically sent the car to my door. It was awesome. Now imagine that for selling your house. It was legitimately that easy. So I can totally see why that many more people are still using Opendoor these days. And you know what? Meme stocks are back. Meme stocks are back, and Opendoor seems to be the one. What other meme stocks are going on at the moment? I feel like SoFi is a meme stock. Now I'm going to get a lot of hate for that. I'm going to get a lot of hate for SoFi being a meme stock. But SoFi is the one that I just see all over the place, people talking about, right? So what's the market telling us? What is the market telling us? Let's start by looking at the trend, the signal, and the breadth of the market. So we want to see the 10/20 price over 50 on the market. So let's go away from Opendoor for a moment. We'll come back to Opendoor, but we have the 10/20 price over 50. So the market is still bullish right now for sure. And the market still has a buy signal, here that came on June 25th. So we still have a bullish market trend and a bullish signal. Now, breadth has been keeping me out of the market. I've been sitting in cash and not effing up. That's one of the things we do around here at OVTLYR. If you don't see any trades that set up, just sit in cash. Now, breadth has been on a cliff dive right here, absolutely getting dominated, monkey hammered to death. This is meaning more and more sell signals are coming through and less buy signals. Now, Opendoor is still sitting on a buy signal. We'll talk about that more in a couple minutes, but that does not give me a lot of excitement in the market, right? We still have a bullish trend, we still have a bullish signal, but breadth has been one of those leading indicators. And I don't know if the market's ever going to crash. I'm not saying that it is, but what I'm saying is that we're running out of steam. The momentum is not necessarily there like it used to be in the market just a couple of weeks ago. Now, let me introduce myself. I am a random guy on the internet, but my name is Christopher Ewell. I've twice been awarded top 100 people in finance. I was mentored by 5 of the market wizards, the best traders of all time. I've been successfully trading since 2009, and this is where outliers like us save time, make money, and start winning with less risk together as a team. So go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. Now let's keep going here. iBuying was once declared dead, right? The selling to online places like Carvana. I did that too, right? I had a Mini Cooper that I had for years. I think I had it for 8 years. I loved that car. And then one day I walked out to my garage and all the fluids that were in the car were no longer in the car. They were all over the floor of the garage. And so I was like, well, that sucks. Let me go take it to get repaired. And I roll up, or had it towed, obviously. And they said it'd be $4,400 to repair the car. And the car was like $3,000 at that point. It wasn't worth very much at all. And I'm like, nah, just slap it back together. Just slap it back together for me to drive it down the road. So they put it back together. I took it over to Carvana and they gave me $3,000 for it. So net, it was a complete mechanical loss. What are they, like a total loss mechanically totaled. That's the word I'm looking for. Mechanically totaled, but it was enough to get back on working order. And now it's Carvana's problem. But that's a real thing, right? People are excited to continue with that convenience. That was a huge convenience that I didn't have anything to do with other than just showing up, dropping off the keys, and walking out with a check. Legacy real estate brokers are falling behind on tech, that's for sure. Now, one thing I did see walking around my neighborhood is one house that's for sale had every day is a open house little QR code thing there. I didn't scan that, but they're trying, right? They're trying. More institutional funds are entering single family real estate, often using digital first partners. And that's a conspiracy we've heard about for years at this point. Is BlackRock and all these mutual funds and hedge funds and all these people buying up every single family home so you'll own nothing and be happy, right? We've heard that. I don't know how true that is, but that's what the internet's saying right now. Home sellers are increasingly using automated tools to assess property values and decide when to sell. Tell you what, when we go sell our house, yeah, for sure, I'll be using that kind of stuff. And companies that survived 2022 and 2023 crash are now leaner, more efficient, and poised to scale. And Opendoor being one of them. Right. So let's go look at what the sector is telling us, right? We looked at what the market's telling us. Now let's go look at the real estate sector. And so we marked this up as 2 greens for the market in the sector, in the real estate sector. Let's jump in. So we're going to look in the Opendoor dashboard. And what we see over here is the average fear and greed score for everybody in this sector. Now, we'll talk about Opendoor itself in just a couple minutes, but this is the fear and greed score for Opendoor. This is the average fear and greed score for everybody in the sector. You can see it actually peaked about actually a week ago today. It peaked, and it's been steadily drifting down slightly less over there. So the fear and greed is still greedy, but it's less so than it was even just a few days ago. And then on breadth down here, this is the same chart as we talked about earlier, but for the real estate sector. And this is looking bearish as well, meaning less and less buy signals, more and more sell signals are coming through in this sector. So we're going to leave both of these red, right? So when we're evaluating Opendoor here, we're going to be doing it in a data first context with a little bit of story to go behind it. And so far, of the 5 parts of the Outlier 9, only 2 of them are bullish so far. Let's continue. So real quick, let me. You're probably asking yourself, what is Outlier and how does it work? Well, Uncle Warren used to say, be fearful when others are greedy and greedy when others are fearful. Outlier shows you if investors are acting irrationally fearful or greedy and by how much, allowing you to get into the stock before the Outlier move happens. You want to see what Outlier move looks like? You want to see what an Outlier move looks like? That is what an Outlier move looks like, right? We're trying to get you in before those happen. Now, if you're ready to save time, make money, and start winning with less risk, It's just 3 easy steps. Step 1, head on over to OVTLYR.com, grab the annual pass for just 82 cents a day. Step 2, oh, and if you're on the monthly plan, you can save 64% off the regular monthly price by clicking that one little button. Step 2, start using the OVTLYR 9. I'm showing you step by step how to do this, exactly how to do this. And then step 3 is sit back and relax because you just found the easiest way to save time, make money, and start winning with less risk. So let's continue on here, right? Open is up over 100% year to date. And in fact, let's zoom in on the chart right now. Up over 100% year to date before today. And then today, what kind of a move did I have today? From yesterday's close to today's high, it went up 122% just between yesterday's close and today's high. So rocket ships all around. Trading activity has exploded with people comparing it to Carvana. Analysts are starting to upgrade the stock after multiple quarters of being beating expectations. In fact, let's go look at the analyst upgrade real quick. Over here in OVTLYR, we should have that. Yeah, there you go. The only one that I have in my platform here is the Citizens JMP to market perform on June 27th. So I guess people care about that, right? The company recently reported margin improvement and stronger than expected unit economics, and retail traders are flooding in, making it a new meme stock. So let's finally evaluate what the stock is telling us. Now, remember, all stocks are bad, but every once in a while they act right. Every once in a while they act right. So we set this up here on the market. The sector is still bearish in both the fear and greed and the breadth, but the stock itself, let's take a look. Now, it started trending up. Where did it start trending up? Earlier this month, July 8th is what I see for trending up. So we got that. Now, the signal, the buy signal for this actually came on July 7th. So the buy signal came a day later, the trend changed, and then rocket ships happened. And what's really cool is the OVTLYR buy and sell signal shows 133% versus buy and hold being down 51%. Quite the difference right there. So the signal is bullish right here, fear and greed. Now, you can see just how fast this fear and greed, this greed has grown significantly. So when the buy signal came, the fear and greed was at 47. And it went at 47, 59, 68, 78, 84, 89, 95, 98, 99, 99.74, meaning this is the highest, biggest, mostest, hugest number that there possibly can be. It can only go up 0.24 basis points from here on Opendoor. Now that gives me all the concerns. That gives me 100% of the concerns. The reason I say that is we've seen all kinds of stocks where the higher the greed score gets, the more likely it is to snap back. Exactly like Stocky Locky was saying right here. Exactly what Stocky Locky is saying. The snapback could be extremely real on this. Senior Wahoo, Art says it right there. Heat map over 99. Yeah, absolutely could snap back real hard, real fast. So if you are in fact, I'm actually going to leave that bearish. Why am I going to leave this bearish? Because it can't go any higher. The fear and greed can't go any higher. It's at 99.74. It can't go any higher. So I cannot, in any good conscience, leave that in a bullish posture. I can't do it. I cannot do it. And then any OVTLYR blocks on top of it. Yeah, OVTLYR blocks for days. By the way, if you have the free TradingView account, you can set up your charts to look exactly like mine, because inside of our Discord, we have a brilliant man by the name of Deep Thought, who's probably here with us live, who has coded this in so that you can use the free TradingView platform with our free indicator that you can port into your TradingView platform, and your charts will look exactly the same as mine. So you will see these same order blocks. How cool is that? For free. Now, looking at this, man, I got to tell you, it may not even close over this order block right here. It may not. Right now, the way that Chris trades is if it's coming up into an order block. So let's use this a little bit. Let's back up slightly. If it cleared through here, the way that I would trade it is I would hold it as it goes into this order block, but I would close it. I would close my trade if it closed inside of this order block. These are areas of large support and resistance. And here, this is obviously resistance. Now, what's happened is it's pushed up through here, and then the order blocks above it really came to town. I mean, look at this. It got absolutely stomped. In fact, let's do the high to low here. It's going to be a different value than it was going up, remember? Now, looking at this from the high to the low, I'm sorry, from the high to the current price right now, it's down 36%. Oh my gosh. There were people buying this when it was up 36% higher than it is right now. Isn't that crazy? Oof, oof. So looking at this, it looks really, really, really ugly. Order block city all day, every day. Now, if it closes above this point, it'll go away right here. But that one up there is clearly a lot of resistance. Now, what are these resistance? What does this mean? These people who bought in July of 2023 and also in December of 2023, these people who bought in right here have been waiting to get out at break even. Okay. These people have been waiting 2 years, give or take, to get out of break even. And they just had that opportunity today. So guess what they did? They sold their faces off. They sold their faces off like you could never have wanted to see selling before. And that is why that candle looks like that. People were so stoked to finally get back to break even after 2 years. Whew, let me tell you, they were not having it. So looking at this, right? Opendoor may be the next big meme stock. But objectively speaking right now, it's got a lot of story going for it, but one thing it doesn't have is the full OVTLYR 9 setup, right? The market working decently with it. The breadth is not there. The sector is not working for it at all. And then lastly, and that's 70% of the stocks move. The last 30% of the stocks move is due to the stock itself. Well, it does have a trend and a bullish signal, which a bullish signal has paid off all kinds of monies. That fear and greed is so elevated. I can only see a snapback coming at any day now. And there are giant outlier blocks that are pushing this down like no one's business. So this is going to be a weak sell for Chris. What I want you to do in the chat down below, is tell me how you would rank. How would you rank Opendoor? That's what I want to know. What do you think about Opendoor? And then let's look at a couple of your stocks, right? Let's look at a couple of your stocks. But tell me first, before you put in your stock, what do you think of Opendoor? Nate says, I mean, I guess it's not the kind of stock I trade in. Market cap's definitely a concern, to be honest. There's plenty of other better stocks to trade out there for sure. Dr. J says it's food stamps. No need to wait. It already snapped, says Anthony. Anthony got a new profile picture. What's up, Anthony? SJ says he's already closed it. Michael Ross says it's a time bomb. Nidus, good to see you here. I think I did the right move yesterday, buying it 2 days ago. And I think I did the right move, buying it 2 days ago and selling it yesterday. I think you did as well. Steve Mucha says this is a meme stock all day. AWire says stay away. Oh, Steve with the pun. I'm shutting that door. It's a closed door. Okay, that's too good. That's too good. I'm going to end on that one. All right. What stock do you guys want to look at real quick? We'll take a look at our OVTLYR 9 framework just for you so you can see just how simple it is to do the 9 itty bitty baby steps, right? Now remember, all the stocks that we're going to look at, they're going to have the same market, so that won't change. But Dana wants to look at NI. NI. Let's go look at NI for Dana. Let's go look at NI for Dana. All right, NI. So this is in the utilities sector, has bullish breadth down here, and the number of uptrends in that sector is growing as well. We can see the average fear and greed score in the sector bottomed and is starting to push back up. So actually, that's quite bullish for me. Now let's go to the stock itself. Has a buy signal with a 10/20, price over 50, and it's getting more greedy. So Dana, I mean, you're setting it up great. Bullish trend, bullish signal, bullish fear and greed. Any outlier blocks on top of NI? No, look at that. Blue skies ahead. I actually really like NI. NI goes to strong buy for me. Strong buy. Strong buy. Let's look at Ryan wants to look at NVTS. So let's reset these. Let's go over here to NVTS. Oh, it looks like we don't cover NVTS, Ryan. Sorry about that, dude. We cover 2,600 stocks, but NVTS is not one of them. We are adding more all the time, though. NVTS is sitting in a couple order blocks right here with a bullish trend. So this is actually a I'm going to get out today kind of candle. This is a I would absolutely get out today kind of candle. Now, here's the thing, Ryan. I'm going to be wrong no matter what. I'm just telling you that right now. It's either going to rocket ship to the moon and you're going to say, this guy, Chris, is so dumb. He told me to sell and then it went on to be $1 million a share, or it's going to crash. And Chris is going to say, you know what? It looks good to me. And you're going to say, oh, Chris is so dumb. He told me that it looks good. I'm going to lose situation right here, Ryan. Just put it that way, my friend. But for me, that is an exit signal no matter what. All Art, Senior Wahoo, wants to look at UUUU. What's going on with UUUU? This is one I've also seen across my page the last couple days. It's in the energy sector. A couple news stories here. In fact, let's pop this open here. Is UUUU set to dominate the U.S. heavy rare earth element market? Energy Fuels now producing heavy rare earth element oxides. Energy Fuels stock soars as DOE launches domestic nuclear fuel initiative. Nuclear stock, huh? All right, dude, look at UUUU. Now, let's go back to the sector, right? We'll start in the sector. The sector has bearish breadth, so that's not going to help us at all. The sector is also, the average fear and greed score is going down, so that's not going to help us either. So both of these are going to stay red. Now, the stock itself, in a beautiful uptrend right here, your 10 over 20, price over 50, with a bullish signal right there. So beautiful trend, beautiful signal. Fear and greed. This one's pushing up really high too, up at 92, 97 right now. Dude, here's a little rule that Chris is going to make from now on. As of this moment going forward, if I see fear and greed score over 90, I'm not going to give it a bullish. I'm not going to give it a bullish fear and greed rating anymore, because it's way more likely to snap back than keep going. So I'm going to mark that as red on the fear and greed, make that bearish, and then any outlier blocks on top. Let's go look at UUU. Let's see. No, clear. Oh, wait. I had to adjust. Almost clear skies ahead. Where we got? We got 11% up to this order block up here. That is when I would trade. My rule of thumb is 2%. If I can pull 2% of a stock, I'd feel pretty good about it. But this one has 11%. So I would mark that as bullish, which puts it into the weak buy category. UUUU would be a weak buy. Now, our final one of the day, we're going to do deep thought. We're going to do deep thought because Deep Thought is the one who created this script. So let's do it, Deep Thought. Deep Thought wants to look at Ford Motor Company. All right, so looking at Ford Motor Company. Ooh, this looks pretty rough. So first, we have a very bearish breadth in the sector. The sector average fear and greed score is going down. So we're not going to change these. Leave these both red. Now, we have a sell signal on Ford. The 10 is over the 20, price is still over the 50 right now. So your trend is still there, but you've got a sell signal. And the fear and greed peaked and is starting to contract slightly. So that's going to stay red. Any outlier blocks on top of Ford? There is one up here. There is one up here. And that was exactly where it got monkey hammered down. So we're going to leave this red here. Oof. Ford is a weak sell for me all day, every day. But listen, I want to help you out in the best way that you can imagine, right? And the only way that I can help you save time, make money, and start winning with less risk is if you click one of these two videos. And have a fantastic day. We'll talk soon.